Hi everyone, Amy here, and I want to show you a project that I've been making, and hopefully I can get it all in focus here. This is a layout that I did. I posted pictures of it on my Facebook group, so you can see pictures of it. I'll probably post some on Pinterest as well, so you can see better picture of it. Sorry about the lighting in here. It's a little bit dark. Let me try turning on another light to see if that'll help. Well, it makes it browner light. But anyway, just trying to make sure we get enough light in here. Yeah, maybe I won't turn that one on. Let's see. Anyhow, this is the layout that I made. I used Prima papers. And I want to show you how I made this. I never make two things the same, so I'll be using different patterns of paper, but I'll use papers from the same two collections. Anyway, so this is what we're going to be making. I will move my sewing machine back a little bit. Maybe I can get a little bit better of the whole view. Let me show you what products I use for that one, just in case you guys are wondering. I used two different collections, well, three different papers. I used the Prima Ledger paper. I love this one, just beautiful. And I also used, I think, a sheet of this one from the script pad, because it had some whiter sheets. And then I also use some of the printery papers in the 6x6. And these ones I got at Hobby Lobby. But the other two large stacks I got from Milu, who is someone who sells on eBay a lot of Prima stuff. I've got a lot of my dolls from her, and I got a lot of my other stuff from her. But these two I picked up at Hobby Lobby because they were having a half off stack sale. So I was able to get those half off. So I actually got two for the price of one, so I bought those. But usually I buy my stuff on eBay from Milu. But anyway, just wanted to show you the collections I used for those. This one I did sort of like in teal colors. And anyway, we'll just get straight to it, and I'll show you how I did it. This is the first time I'm doing a, complete tutorial on how to do a whole project. Hopefully I can get through this somewhat quickly. I don't want to take too long because I know some people get bored, but I'll try to hurry through it as fast as I can, and if it doesn't work out, maybe I'll speed up the camera. But anyway, so there's that. For the one that we're going to do today, I have picked out another piece of paper from one of those collections. It's sort of like a pink color, but it has a little bit of peach tones to it. And I'm not really sure how it's going to turn out. But I have these flowers here from Prima. And I got them down in California at their outlet. They came in a pack like this. And so I just grabbed the pink ones out. And so we'll try using those ones. My friend Karen picked them up for me because she lives down there and practically lives at Prima. And I am in Idaho, so there's not much here. And so I wanted papers, and so she was nice enough to get them for me. And so let me find another sheet of paper. Maybe I'll just, flip through here while I'm on camera, so I can see which one I want. And then that way you guys aren't as bored either. I think I'll do a darker one. Maybe we'll do some cocoa browns. And that one's from this collection right here. So we'll use that one. And that'll be it for the 12x12 sheets. You only need two 12x12 sheets because of the way that I do this. I save paper. I don't like to waste paper. It really annoys me when I have to waste paper. So I try not to do that. Let me move my sewing machine out of the way a little bit so we can do this, and I'll just try to keep that in frame. But what I'm going to do first is, if you notice, I have it layered right here on the edge. So what I do is I cut around, you can see it on the back, and just cut out my center part. My center part from this paper here turns out to be this paper here. So then I have this sheet that's a full sheet in the middle. So that's kind of how I do it, so that I save paper but get the layered look. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'll show you how I cut it. It's not hard at all. So I'm going to use the brown as the main color. So let me move those out of the way. So first of all, I just line up my paper in my trimmer. And you can do it however far in that you think you need to, but I usually do just like 1.5. And then it's easy to find in here, just go 1.5 or so. It doesn't have to be exact. And when I'm trying to do things quickly, I tend to not do them as exact, but that's okay, because we're going to make it so you won't see if I messed up in the back. So I'm one of those crafters that likes to just get it done, and I don't take a whole lot of time. So as you can see, I cut out the center, and now I have my square. So next we're going to take our next sheet of paper, which is this one, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to rip it. I'm just going to rip it around the edges. So try to do that quickly. And it doesn't matter if you're really straight. You can do it as jagged as you want and show as much white as you want. Or you can, you know, have less white showing. It all is personal preference. Just whatever works good for you. So I'm just ripping it. And I went in a little bit far in that, but that's okay. If I screw up, I can fix it. You just want to make sure that when you put your paper over here that you don't go into the empty space. But that's why I just leave the 12 by 12 sheet the same size that it was and then rip it from there. If I cut it down shorter and then tried to rip it, it would probably be too small. So, okay. So I've got that done. Now I like to use Tim Holtz distress stains. They're my favorite. And I have a blending foam right here, and it's very well worn. I use them until they're like nothing. They're like in pieces, or like they won't work at all. And so I just take it and rub the edges like that, and I'll go all the way around the whole thing. So this is the time where I wish I had some music going in the background so that you don't get bored, because this is kind of the part that takes the longest amount of time and is probably the most boring to watch. As a viewer, I watch lots and lots of YouTube videos. Every night before I go to bed, I sit there with my phone watching YouTube videos. So it's just something I do for fun. So you just ink it up, and you can use different colors. I just like the darker browns, but you can use black or whatever. And if you want to, you can go around this piece too. And this one I don't rip because I want it to fit in an album or in a frame, and I want it to be flat. But I think if you just add a little bit of this around the whole thing, then It really just makes it look more complete. Okay, I'm almost done. Alright. Alright, so you add that. And then this one's a pattern, and sometimes you want to make sure that if it has a lot of wording, that most of the wording is right side up, because otherwise it tends to look funny. So that's what it's going to look like. Right, like that. So I'm going to use some of these photo squares right here, just 4 of them, and I'm going to photo corner them down. And I use these a lot when I sew because the sewing machine will go straight through them and it doesn't mess up my machine. Sometimes if you use different glues and stuff, it gums up your needle. So, but these photo corners hold it down just good enough to do what I want it to do and not mess up my page. So, there, we're going to do that like that. Okay, so next we're going to use our machine, our sewing machine, and making sure that I'm in view where you can see. I just start here, and you want to find a spot on your machine so that you go the same distance all the way around. What I've decided to do for this one is I'm just going to follow the foot along there. Okay, you can do it however you want, whatever you like to do, just so long as you do it evenly, that's all that matters. So I just forward and backward a little bit. I'm going to scoot this up just a little bit so when you get to the end, and just turn it and keep going. It's really, really, really simple. Alright, so then I just cut the strings off. Okay. Alright, so now we have our first layer completed, and it really didn't take too long. And the more you do this, the quicker it goes, and the less, less time it takes. So then our next part that we're going to be doing is this part right here. So what we need to do for that is more ripping, and I didn't sew that part on. You could sew it on, but we're not going to do that. Because I didn't do it on my last one, and so we're not going to do it on this one. So let's see if I can tear it while on camera. It's always easier to tear it when you're closer to your body. And I always do a better job, but I have to do it where you can see it, so it's a little bit tougher to do. So just ripping it, and really this does not take too long at all. It's just a matter of ripping and inking. Alright, so there's that. Then we're going to have to ink it some more, because we don't want all those white edges. If you wanted to do the white edges, then you just skip the inking step, but I prefer not to have the white. I mean, if there's a little white, it doesn't make too much of a difference, but I like it to be darker. And you can use a lighter color if you want to do, lighter, but I like the walnut because it colors really quickly, and I don't feel like I have to put as much ink on the page. But I'm thinking about doing another one of these in graphic 45 papers, because between them and Prima, those are my favorite companies. So they make everything that I can't live without so far. Okay, so we've got that in the middle, and what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna glossy accent it a little bit. And I've had people say that their glossy accent clogs on them a lot. So this is just what I do, is I have a little jar that's got some little embellishments in it, and I keep mine tipped up this way all the time. And so we're just gonna put a little glue in the center. That's all we need. And then I promptly put the lid back on and then store it that way. That way it doesn't dry in the lid. So let's put it this way. I think that's more upright. So we're just gonna rub that into place like that. Okay. So, and in the other one, I use doilies on the corners for more layering, and I'll show you what those look like here in just a minute. Those, I use these. I got these at Michael's. They're the small ones. So I just will take, I only need 2 because I cut mine in half because I don't like to waste stuff. So you can either cut them down the center and, you know, that way, or you can cut them this way. And then it has a point. So it's up to you, however you want to cut them. It won't really matter. And then what I do is I just stick a little bit of glossy accents on it, on each one, and stick them where I want them to go. And since I don't make anything the same, maybe I'll stick them on the opposite sides this time. You know, for fun. Because I like to make things a little more different. So, and I just stick it on here. You don't have to put it on both sides because it's going to stay just fine with the glossy accents. And so, because I cut them in half, you just got to make sure that the edges of your doily are tucked in enough that you can't tell that it's only half a doily. Then these 2 I'm going to save for later for when I do the next part. So now what I need to do is make that hemp string part. And what I do for that is super easy if I can find my stuff. I should have made sure I had it all together, but it's one of those things. You always forget something when you're filming. So anyway, I just take my craft mat and I take something circular, and that's just something I use for painting. And then I have this can that I have a bunch of string in. So how I make the circle of hemp is really easy. If I can get it on, I let my husband use it. I had a place where you could just pull it out from and keep going, and it worked great. And then he kind of took it out and used the wrong end, and so now I kind of have a mess in there. But so you just glue down one section of it, and then you're going to go around your circle. And then sometimes it helps if you are first getting started to put a couple more little glue spots to hold it in place, because you want to make a circle and you want it to be pretty good. And most people have these. If you don't have one of these, you know, little paint things, and you want to use this exact size because, you know, you don't want to go find a bowl or whatever, you can get these at Michael's. They're just little paint things. So just add a little more glue right